So what you're saying is don't. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys. Brig came over and was like, guys, don't. No, techno, don't. I'm like, oh.
All right.
It was just cracking me up, though. But yeah, it's coming your way, buddy.
Okay. All right. All the technical.
So inventory.
Yep.
The new one's out, inventory 15. And last week we went over WMI scanners. So that's part of it. We're going to just jump in and show you guys what's new, especially with the tools and everything is going remote there. Yep. So just to start off, I always like to go and open the update notes. I know you guys know the acronym I always say, which is
RTFM.
Okay.
There's a reason that's been said for a long time. There's good information in the notes and documentation.
So we're not going to hit everything on here. I'm going to bring up a couple of things, though. Obviously, the WMI scanner. We're going to show you the custom tools.
Yeah.
And then also the new unique computer ID is a fully qualified computer name, which I'm sure we'll show you sometime throughout what we're doing today.
Yes, and for those we're yay! I'm happy.
You excited about that?
Yes. This for multi-domain environments. This is crucial.
Absolutely.
And so, if you guys don't realize, what does that matter? It does. Whew. Anyway.
And then again, we'll take you through some of the other things like how to build and install package and just some of the neat features there. Yeah. So from there, should we? I'm going to let Chris kind of drive here.
Cool. So one of the recent things that we're very excited for is introducing the concept of theming in inventory.
Oh yeah.
So one of these new features that we have is changing the theme of our console and experience here. So in the preferences, we are going to go to the interface, and we now have this new option for theme, and you'll see a few different options here. Default Office 2013, 2016, and Metropolis Dark. More often than not, we found a lot of admins out there prefer dark.
They live in the dark.
Yeah.
In the caves, you turn your lights off and let the monitor glow.
Bingo. Interestingly enough, I actually happen to prefer the Office 2016 of this one. I actually like the grayness of it. But
really?
Let's do the dark one for this one.
Sounds good.
So we're just going to change it. And we'll do the webcast in the dark theme. Twilight Zone music playing. It'll be great.
Dee 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 dee. Is that Twilight?
There we go.
All right.
So that's it.
So we're good to go.
Yeah.
Ready and rocking. Okay.
Yeah. There are
a caveat, just occasionally.
Yeah, so there's some small known bug issues that really shouldn't affect 99% of you, but just be aware that after changing the theme, sometimes the UI is not as snappy, or there might be some weird glitches or artifacts you see. They should not happen for the most of you, but if it does happen, just close and reopen your console.
You're good.
Seriously, it's just as simple as close, reopen. No even restarting the background service or anything. Just be aware there are some things that are being worked on and fixed. Just if you see them, be aware of them, but they shouldn't be big issues. And I opened deploy because we're talking about inventory.
I love it.
So it's great.
What Chris was showing you there is when you set the theme in inventory, it doesn't change it in deploy, huh?
Wow. Boy, is my face red.
Live.
That was excellent, Chris.
Coming to you live.
It really was. Wow. Sleep's a thing. Once upon a time. So anyway, just like we covered, WMI scanner, if you want more information about that is one of the big features of this release. Check out our old webcast from last week. Watch it.
It's in depth, guys, and it's one of those things, you get into, you watch it, and it kind of opens a world to you that, I every time someone asks me, what can I do with WMI? I'm like, what can't I do with WMI scanner? So
absolutely.
Again, we had a full webcast on that. So
yep. And so today we want to talk about tools. I know there's probably some questions about this. Do we want to start with a question? I think it might be good before I get too depth in my thing.
Let's definitely do that. Let's jump on a question, yeah.
Dear Lex and Chris, if I'm on a client machine using Central Server and I have a tool such as Winterstat set to target remote machines, does Winterstat have to be installed on my client machine or server machine, or both, for this tool to be usable? Thanks, Kathleen F.
Hey, Kathleen.
Hello. That's a great question.
That is a good question.
I know the answer.
I do too.
It should be the answer. Just on the client.
Yep.
You need to have it installed on the client because that's where it's going to run from.
Yeah, if you're going to run a remote tool, again, it's going to run on the remote machine that you're sending the command to. So it's got to be there. So
in this case, I actually have a tool for that specifically.
Perfectly.
So I was actually going to cover this today because going over tools, one of the big things that's changed for Inventory 15 is the remote command and the tools. So loading up a tool, you're going to see that the interface looks very different than it did before. In this specific one for WinderStat, which, how fortuitous that you brought that up as a question, this is all it needs to be, and on this machine that I'm running this on, it happens to be in central server mode, this is the server, but if this was a client pointed to the server, this client, as long as it has WinderStat, it should be fine, because it's going to run WinderStat on my machine as long as I have it set to run type local or system. And that we'll cover that. We have remote, local, and system. The difference being system tools run locally, but you can't use any variables to say, hey, I want to point at this guy.
You don't need to select a computer to run it.
Yes.
The system tool is
Exactly.
just going to kick it off on your client or console machine there.
Yes. Local tool will actually be able to run this tool here on this machine, but you have to have a computer selected, because then you can actually target things. In the case of WinderStat, we'll show that. So right now, part of what I have is this computer target host name.
Now, over on the right, so if you click on the little X, it brings up the
Yes,
variables.
sir.
So as a reference, guys, if you need to use variables, and you will in your remote tools, this is where you can find them. They're very easily laid out for you there.
Yes.
So,
And that is, yeah, so we got, okay. I want to check
hey, you know what?
Yes.
I'm just kind of looking at this. This is kind of hard for me to see. Let's change the theme back so that everybody can actually see this a little better.
That's
This works
probably
great
good, yeah.
in the dark office where we're at, but, on the webcast,
That's a good point.
let's put it back so that
Let's do that.
it becomes easier for everyone to see what we're doing.
Okay, so we'll save that. We're now in the default. You can check them all out and see which ones you like. We'll just use the default since that's what we always use for these webcasts. So WinderStat, here we come, back open. We're using that variable that we selected, that placeholder, and now when we run this, it's going to run locally on this machine, but then target that machine.
Okay, so once again, under run type, right, we had a couple of options there.
Yes.
And that would be, well, we got three of them, right? Remote, local, and system. So, again, here we want to do it local.
Yes.
All right.
And just to answer your question and show you an example is why I want to stick with the remote with the local tool. But the big deal about Inventory 15 is the remote. Tools heretofore always ran locally on the machine that inventory was running from. Always. You could target other machines using something like WinderStat that could target other machines, or you could run a local tool such as Notepad. I want to open up Notepad, whatever. The difference being now, I can target remote machines and have it run remotely.
You can tell that tool it's going to run on that machine.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of deviate from this one, since I hope that answers your question with WinderStat. You can select a machine and it should open up on that. I believe I have WinderStat on here, but I don't want to digress too far from that.
Yeah.
But yes, the answer is it'll run from the client. It should be installed on the client console. There we go.
Client console.
So, yes,
All right.
remote tools. This is the big one that we want to talk about, because we've had remote command. So I could run commands remotely on a machine. So if I wanted to select any machine here, we often pick on Pickle Rick or whoever. I like to pick on Pickle Rick.
It's just fun to say.
It's fun to say. And so here I can go up to Tools and select, it used to be called Remote Command. We've changed that because we've combined them.
Yeah, and you'll see go click on it. You'll see what we've done to change this for you.
So this interface has a lot of new functionality. We can actually switch between this ad hoc tool with running an ad hoc command running remotely on this target, as well as taking what we have as a command and saying, you know what, I want to save this as a tool. I like this. I want to have it easier to run. But nothing has changed. If I wanted to run, dir c on Pickle Rick, I just hit enter there. You could also hit execute up here in the toolbar, or abort if you wanted to abort a command that has started to run. We've combined it here so that you can actually have easy access to everything. I'm using my hands here. I need to use the tools that we have on the monitor. Easy access to the properties that we want to change. We want to have it easy access to I forget this is a touchscreen. There we go. To the computers that you have, as well as the output that is shown. One of the cool things about this new one with remote command that we didn't have before was I can actually grab additional computers. Where is my mouse? There we go. So if I wanted to add, in addition to Pickle Rick, someone else, I could choose someone else. I could decide to also use Bird Person, and it will be added to there. And then when I run the command again,
It'll run on both those
run
machines.
them both. So this is a new addition that we have to the former remote command window, now run window combined with create tool window.
Okay, and I don't know if this is a good time to get into this, but let's say I really love that dir c colon.
Yes.
All right, I love that. I want to turn it into a tool.
Fantastic.
Okay, how do I
Easy,
do that at this point?
super easy. At this point, we're going to click on the edit mode toolbar button right there. It's kind of off center, but that's okay. Click on that. Now it'll switch over to there, and I can name my
It looks
tool.
like a standard tool setup at this point.
See all the things.
But it now has the run type there also.
Yes, and because we're running a remote command, it's automatically going to think and assume you mean you want to run a remote tool, but you can change that should you need to. But in this case, let's say you want to do a remote one. I'm going to say this is a remote tool so that I can easily distinguish that, but I can set the rest of these properties for timeout, success codes, scan after or not, as well as the credentials that I'm going to be using to do this, or icon. Once I do that and I hit save, see all the things, we can close this tool and go find in my list of tools, see all the things. It is a tool. Just be aware in this case, since it is remote, I need to still
Select a machine.
select a
to run it on.
machine. Yes, so if I was to select a machine, let's select Pickle Rick and Plumbus. We'll do tools, see all the things. And it's going to be magic. It's going to pop up just like we had before in that run command window, have both those computers, and you'll see the output.
Okay. I absolutely love this. When would be an example of when I'd want to run something as a system?
Good question. So there's a few examples. One I think I put on here is Active Directory reset user passwords. I like to use PowerShell to do management,
Okay.
to do everything, especially Active Directory, because there are a lot of Active Directory commands in PowerShell to do this. So what I have done, I will show you in the system tool, is I just have this running so that I can not have to have a computer selected to run it. I just want to be able to quickly run a hotkey and pull up this window that's going to ask me what user do I want to do this for, and then what new password I want to set it to. So I can change that.
Okay, so if I were using, I've talked to a lot of customers that said, you know, I use inventory, I use deploy, and also have a help desk system, so they could actually build a tool where they could just in and pop their help desk.
Yes.
If they could run it as an executable or a link, they could
Yes.
pop that up. So that's a good use for that.
Yes, and right now the way I have it, I'll just show you what would happen.
Okay.
If I run this, remember I don't have to have a computer selected. You'll notice that most of these commands are disabled because they require a computer to be selected. This one does not. If I run this, it'll pop open with this PowerShell that says username.
I'd
That
use
is a
Katie's right here.
giant
Or
window.
Brig.
Let's see if we can get that better. Yeah.
Let's reset Briggs' password.
Well, he may or may not like that.
Maybe we shouldn't do that. we should do that.
But I could type in a username. If it existed, it'll prompt me for the password, new password. If it doesn't exist, I'm going to see red because the username doesn't exist in this case. But
The username doesn't exist.
correct.
That's a unique username.
It really is.
so-
It should have the password.
It was password one, yeah.
So this is an example of what a system tool will do.
Brick, do you have any favorite system tools you'd kick up off that?
Oh, not really.
I have one.
Okay, what do you got?
That maybe you might like if you're managing Active Directory but don't want to do PowerShell is launching Active Directory users and computers.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that would be
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That's
I mean, there's an MMC and all those. Yeah. there's lots of
DNS.
actual
I would
tools.
love the DNS.
Yes,
That's the one
DNS.
because
Yep,
I was going in there going,
policy
oh man,
management.
So-
Yep, DHCP. Yeah, all those.
Absolutely.
all those tools that you want to load up, but you just want quicker ways to do it. That's what system tools are for, typically. That's
And
what I
actually,
like them for.
PowerShell and DNS are really good friends.
Oh, absolutely.
Really good friends.
Yes,
Get
they
along
are.
well?
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
You can manage a lot of stuff with that. Speaking of DNS, though, there's another command that I actually like to do as a remote tool. This is very common. I know a lot of you probably do the same thing and are familiar with the ipconfig command with /flushdns. For whatever reason, a lot of people like to get that run on a remote machine. Well, you could create a package and deploy, or you can do it quickly here in inventory now with a remote tool. So I can actually run this as well on Pickle Rick, because I like to pick on Pickle Rick. He's so much fun to say.
It is.
It
I
really
gotta
is.
say that's my favorite,
Yeah.
just because it's odd.
Yep. So here we go. We get to see the result of the command as it's run. It's going over there, says, hey, I need to do this thing. Let me do this thing. Oh, you have results. Send them back. And then we get the results back
it
in this
really
window.
saying that?
That's how I envision it.
Okay. In the background, the computer's like, hey,
Yeah.
hey.
It is. It
Does
is
it have
fun
a deeper
stuff.
voice when it does it? Hey, hello there.
Yeah.
That was impressive, man.
Anyway, do we have any other questions
Yeah.
that we might want to answer before I go on my next thing?
Dear Lex and Chris, is there a way to launch a remote regedit session from PDQ inventory tools? Sincerely, Dietrich K.
Dietrich?
Hi.
Okay, so regedit tools, if you kick it off normally, you run it, and then you can go pick a machine.
Yes.
So it's like, can we pass that machine parameter into Regedit. Is there a native way to do that?
Short answer is not that I'm aware of. No, I don't think there is one. I have looked for that in the past. I know that Shane, because he likes WinBatch, a program that really gets deep into the OS to be able to automate and create and do stuff. He's actually written a program
he did.
to do that because he too could not find a good way to do this. You might, if you don't want to buy WinBatch, which I think is phasing out, you could do it with maybe AutoIt or AutoHotkey. You could probably bundle that with a script to be able to run that, because all you're doing on a given machine is running the regedit command, which
We happened to test just before.
yeah, so it'll launch this, and then part of the UI automation bit is it's going to come up to the file menu, click Connect Network Registry, type in a computer, check the name, hit OK. You can streamline this with
Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick. There we go, Pickle Rick. And it probably because remote registry is not running. But
Yep,
in this
okay.
case, we can't because we have it disabled. But this is how you would do it with UI automation tools. There's even a PowerShell UI automation mini framework that hasn't been updated in like 3 or 4 years.
Have you tried doing it at night?
I haven't done it with our stuff because I use that here because I like PowerShell. But you could do it with this. If you run any problems, try it out. If you're any hurdles, reach out to us.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I'd be happy to help.
If you get it figured out, post it up. We'd love
Yeah.
to see how you're doing it.
So anyway, so short answer, no, but yeah, with other tools. Cool.
That's a kind of
Definite maybe.
definite maybe. Do you have another question?
Cool. We like questions. I love questions.
Dear Chris, when will we have access to Chris's fancy tools in the tools library? Sincerely, Team OS.
I will drink to that, Chris.
Okay.
You get an amen too.
And then
Yeah,
amen.
that's
Yeah.
Kampai. Thank you. That was good stuff. The fact that you said fancy tools just makes me so happy. You have no idea. Well, maybe you do because that's why you use the term fancy. Anyway, I put fancy everything, as we know.
So ultimately, putting them in the tools library,
It's going to happen.
it will. But is there a possibility we can get an XML out there for people on some of those?
Maybe I'll have to see if I can find some time to put up on a blog, like a quick little throw up something, or even the bonus content. We can put some of them up, absolutely. If there's any that you want specifically that you've seen in a webcast, just reach out to us. I'm happy to get it for you. We will be updating the tools library
That is true.
with remote tools. One of the reasons that we've kind of held back from updating tools library is we wanted to have the functionality of remote tools to be able to do all the things rather than wrap them around with
All the fancy things?
all the fancy things.
Okay.
Rather than wrap them with like PS Tools, the PS Exec
Yeah,
tool,
yeah.
or doing remote PowerShell, which works and has worked up until now. That's what I've done up until now. But being able to do it natively as a remote tool, it cuts out all the fluff and allows us to do some really awesome things. So over time, look forward to some updates that we're going to be having. And if you have any updates and you have a fancy, I used it. I know
Fancy.
I did. I stopped right there. If you have a fantastic or fabulous tool that you'd like to
Fancy
see,
works.
Fancy's
a
great.
fancy tool or an idea, reach out to us. Let us know. We'd love to add it. So, if it's fancy,
Well, it's got to be fancy and it's got to be applicable across the board.
absolutely.
So,
So on a scale of 1 to fancy, like at least an 8.
super fancy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, a couple other things that I do want to cover with the remote tools. This is probably the most that I've seen tool that I've seen people
Incorrectly?
incorrectly use
Yeah.
is GP Update. Because up until Inventory 15, you could create a tool that had GP Update, and if you selected computers and ran that tool to run GP Update, you might be forgiven that you think that it's running GP Update on those machines, but it was not. It was a local tool running GP Update X amount of times on your current computer. Thank you. I thought I had to click on that. So,
Whoa, you don't put a force on the end of that?
you can
Like, well,
force.
let's make that happen.
Let's happen. Is it
right.
dash or slash? I don't remember.
Break, dash, or slash on
I
force?
use slashes all the
I think
time,
it's
but I'm
slash,
not
huh?
sure.
Slash.
Okay.
Slash. Okay.
So this is how you could do this. Now that it runs remotely, you can actually get all that proper feedback. Now I'll show you this in action. Let's actually force a GP update on Surprise, Pickle Rick.
I knew you were going to pick that.
Or maybe not. Oh no. We'll do noob. Or it looks like he has a trust relationship thing we might need to address. We'll just do Plumbus, we'll do, who do you want? Million Ants, and Evo Rick. We'll just do
Evil
several
Rick,
different
yeah.
ones. So let's do GP update. Once this, sorry.
No, by all means.
I was going to say, so this is running GP Update, but one thing that I really want to call out, GP Update, when we do this, if you notice with our tools, the credentials we're running this is as the scan user. Or you could select another credential that you have created in your PDQ inventory environment, but it's not going to run as the logged on user.
Yeah.
So any user-specific
GP
policies, any of those will not be updated like you might imagine. But there's a good workaround for this. We have a product for this called PDQ Deploy.
I've heard of this.
Yeah. Yay! If you aren't using it, please use it.
How hard is it for us to take a tool and make a
Stuff?
stuff?
Easy. I'll show you.
Okay.
I was actually waiting for EvoRick to finish, but it seems like it's not being responsive. These ones are, so we'll ignore that.
Done. Okay.
Say you have this tool, in this case GP Update Force. We want to make that a package in PDQ Deploy. Well, up until now, you'd be forced, like an animal, to open up PDQ Deploy.
Well, copy and paste.
Yeah. Ooh, that's rough. We now have the ability to click Tools, create PDQ Deploy Package, and it will load that for you and add that as a step. Dramatic gasp for everybody.
That's magic.
It really
that is
is.
magic. That is so cool.
It is awesome. So we have this. Now, I can save this as a package. It was on property, so I could save that as GP Update Force. The step does GP Update Force as a command step. If you have a tool that is using PowerShell, it'll create it as a PowerShell step. Then I can save this package and...
Don't you want to run those as the logged on?
I do.
user?
I'm... Call me paranoid. I always think things are going to blow up, so I want to save it
before
and then
you
go.
change it.
Yeah,
Okay. That's a smart move.
It is. I think so. I'm also paranoid. But in this case, I want to change to run as the logged on user. So now that step, GP update as logged on user. So now if I need to get something updated as the person who's logged on, I can do that. And the great thing about having this as a package in PDQ Deploy, GP Update Force, it's under packages. If I switch back to inventory and I select my machines that I want to run this on, I can go to Tools, do PDQ Deploy, and go select that package. Alternatively, from PDQ Deploy, I can choose targets, point to inventory. I mean, there's a lot of crossover in a good way. So
Right.
we're just trying to make it even easier for you. I'll cancel that because we don't need to actually show that.
But
But-
that's cool.
It is. It's really awesome. This is one of my favorite things. But do we have any questions? I think I saw something.
Dear Lex and Chris, with the addition of the WMI scanner to inventory, what new powers are at our disposal? What can I do with this? Thanks, Timothy M.
All the powers.
Magic.
Hi, Timothy.
Hey, if you can imagine it and you can select it in WMI, you can pretty much query on it and build reports and collections, and it really is. If you can find it in WMI, you write a query, you can do it.
Yes.
And we actually have a really good, there we go, KB on examples of usage. Colby was very good at providing some excellent examples of how to use the WMI scanner. I mean, just a lot of people that have asked questions like, hey, how can I get this information? Easily done in the query, and it just kind of walks you through all of that. So it's in our KB section under PDQ inventory.
Also, check out last week's webcast.
Yes,
Yeah,
please check out
last
that.
week's webcast.
We
The
call
topic
this
of
out
last
there.
week's.
Excuse me. One of the ones I'll just throw out there, throw this example out there. Event logs. Who loves searching event logs? Nobody. So, yeah. You can do it really easy with PowerShell. Yeah, I know. We love PowerShell. But you can also do it really easy with WMI Scanner.
Yeah.
You can define it as that and scan it and store that data in the WMI page. I mean, just since we're here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. If I open up the computer window for one of these guys and scroll down, I'll send that a little bit. Scroll down to WMI. Any results for any WMI scans that we have will show up here individually per scanner that I've created. So it's pretty fantastic. If you guys have great examples, post it to our forum. Reach out to us. I mean, let's get a combined group. I don't know, brain
Get the community
trust thing going. It'd be great. But so anyway, that was a good webcast. Check it out if you haven't already. But so tools. We like tools.
We love tools.
One other thing I do want to call out that's new that you might not realize is when you're running a remote tool. So actually, we'll switch back here and run. Again, we'll select a couple machines here. Mr. B. Siegs. If I'm doing just a run command, so not a specific command, not a specific tool, I want to do it ad hoc, I can do that. I want to do, ipconfig or something. I want to more often than not, I've found that I need to have multiple commands run rather than just the one command run. I want to do this, then that, then that, then that. Previously, you can only do that by, tying them together if it was a command or if it's PowerShell with a semicolon and have it still on one line and look ugly. No more. We have this wonderful option called multi-line.
Multi-line.
Yes, it's like multipass from Fifth Element, but different. So we can
IP config, release,
Yes.
and then renew.
Exactly. IP config, release, IP config, renew. And remember, this is running remotely, so it does its thing, comes back with the results. And hopefully changing IPs won't blow up in your face. So we'll see.
Oh,
But-
is that the whole test it before you launch it to everybody thing?
Yeah, I'm not going to launch this one live because my face will probably be red again. So that being said, you can do multi-lines, but there is one caveat. When you do a multi-line command and you run it, if you've run commands in the past, you might remember that it saves command history.
Yeah.
So if I deselect the multi-line, you'll see the command history for any commands that I've run for remote command up until inventory 15 and including inventory 15. There's our dir C at the top there that we ran this morning, or just a little bit ago. Wow, time. When you do a multi-line command, it does not get saved in this history.
Yeah.
The idea behind that is if you have a multi-line command that you want to reuse, make a tool.
Yep.
Like it's super easy. I am a tool. Wait, that's probably not the best example to do.
Like, wow, I was going to say that about you, but I was holding back. But
If you come up with the file menu, you can actually save as a tool and choose to save it as a tool. Fancy McTool.
fancy McTool.
I am Wordsmith, and I can go back to edit mode and edit it that way. And if I close it, I can go look in the list of tools and find my fancy McTool, and do all the fancy things. So we're trying to make it as customizable as possible without being,
Overbearing.
yeah, like one of the things you'll notice is when you change the different run types for remote, local, and system, you might notice some of these options down here are enabled or disabled.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on that just toward the beginning of the webcast, but just it's because there's things that we can't get or don't think we need to get. Let us know if you disagree and have a good use case for it. I mean, I'm happy to argue with people.
So I know this isn't a tool, but I just want to touch on this because one of my favorite things, because I don't know how many customers I end up talking to.
Yeah.
It's uninstalling.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So one of the greatest things in inventory, again, you scan your machines, you get the uninstall string. So
Let's do it.
they've added a new feature.
Yes, we did. I'm glad you called this up.
If you go to applications and you right click on let's unload 7-zip, uninstall, and the new thing is create a package.
I'm terrible with this highlighter. There it is. Yay.
It's those meat hooks, Chris.
It really is.
At any rate, you can create an uninstall package
Yep.
and deploy directly from inventory now.
Yes. So previously, if you clicked uninstall, and still not previously, it still happens, it'll load up in the run command window. But now with the PDK deploy one, you can save it for posterity and get that running all the times. It'll copy it over, and you'll see, note, we do make the note down here in the description that parameters may need to be manually added. This is always the case, whether you're using the old just uninstall method or this new method. 7-zip, as an example, out of the box, all it's doing is calling what's in the registry for the uninstall string for that application,
Yep.
which gives this. That's not the silent way to uninstall it. You have to still add that slash big S, I think.
I think it's a slash capital S.
So-
Google foo on that one.
Yes, all the things. And this is how you can do it. Now you have, notice the title of the step. We had the step, we have the title of the package. Oh, it's just fantastic. This is going to streamline a lot of uninstalls and,
Yeah.
and creating packages for those uninstalls.
You're out there looking and people got games on there and you find out they've got a lot of games.
Yeah,
Make a package, launch it.
please. That is one of my favorites.
You got another question you want to hit?
Our final question of the day. Any chance you are going to make an idiot version to export a package to deploy to air-gapped networks? Also, Star Wars or Star Trek? The latter question is most important. May the Force live long and prosper, John B.
I can't answer two questions. It's only ask a question, so I like both.
Are you going to make an idiot version?
So idiot version.
That's a loaded question. We're not going to answer that. We're going to make an idiot version.
Yeah,
No.
anything I make is an idiot version. So
For air
That
gap.
speaks poorly to our product.
And me specifically.
But Star Wars or Star Trek, Chris?
Between the two, I actually prefer Star Trek.
Really? Captain Kirk or
Original. I love the original. I love Next Generation probably the most, but I still love the original.
Campy Trek?
Oh, I love it. I love all the new and the new Discovery. So love them. How about you?
I'm gonna have to go with Star Wars.
Cool. We've got
I prefer.
contention. Come back to your question here, though, with the
Yeah.
air gap stuff. The easiest way to do this is to copy the files that are in your repository and export your package.
Yeah.
Now, just remember, the repository has to exist in the same structure that the package is looking for. So if you're using the repository, you'll see in the package itself for any given package with that installed software. This is one of our auto download packages, so they're grayed out here, but you'll see that it references the repository here. As long as that file structure below that is the same, you can copy it to another machine, that the repository, those specific files, export your package, and it'll work great.
Just put it in the same spot. It'll be on
Yeah.
other machines. So just mirror them.
Yep. You could probably script it too with PowerShell, but that's not idiot-proof. That actually introduces more problems, I'm sure. So anyway, cool.
Remote tools, man. I love them.
Yes, they're fantastic. This is probably one of my most features that I've been excited for. I've been wanting the ability to do this for a long time. So I hope
I'm just lazy. Anything makes my job easier. Bring it
Absolutely.
on. So, anyway, thanks for watching, guys.
Cool. See ya.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, John B. and Timothy M., winners of PDQ swag. Also, Adam W., winner of our PDQ floppy coaster. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Both very good things. Have a great week. We'll see you back here next time.